Hey guys, Heidi Easley here, Texas Art and Soul, and I am just waiting just a second to, sorry for all the mess, you can see all my calendar stuff. I'm trying to make it to where you can't see all of the mess stuff back there. So anyway, thank y'all for being here. Grab you a cup of tea or a glass of wine or whatever you want to drink, because I'm going to go into a few different things here. Actually, I'm going to go into three things I wish I would have known before teaching paint parties. So if you know somebody that might be kind of the artsy person, if you'll tag them in this so they can watch it and so they can ask me questions. But basically, I'm going to tell you exactly how this little hour is going to go. It's going to be I'm going to be hopefully under an hour. So if you can't watch the whole thing, you can always come back in and watch it later, or if you want to watch part of it now. But yeah, so I'm going to kind of tell you exactly what to expect. So let me share this to my my other page real quick. And tell me where you are from, if y'all don't mind. Okay. I really need to get like an assistant that can do that. That takes, I'm always like, Okay, so I'm going to go over some things. So yeah, tell me where you're from. And hi, thank y'all for joining. So tonight I'm going to tell you about my story. I'm so excited to talk to you kind of about how I got started as an artist, how I make money as an artist, and 3 things I wish I would have known before I started a paint party business. There were many, many years I didn't make any money at all, but tonight I'm going to tell you kind of how it all began and how you may want to be a part of this, okay? So here's what to expect. Like I said, it shouldn't last more than an hour, hopefully shorter. So grab you a drink, grab you some paper, a pen if you're interested in this, and then get cozy. You know, if you have your pajamas on, I'm like business on top, and then I already have like my sweatpants on bottom. Oh, hi guys, thank y'all for joining. And if you don't mind, tag somebody in this that you think is like your creative friend. You know, everybody has that artsy kind of, we all think they're kind of a little crazy, as I'm sure most of y'all think I'm a little nuts, but that's okay. We're all, you know, we all have that one friend that's kind of out there. So tag them if you think this might be something that they're interested in, teaching paint parties. And then I'm going to show, you know, kind of tell you how it all got started, and then kind of, you know, some information at the end as well, if somebody wants to get started. So I posted in my Facebook page, you probably saw a picture of a bunch of surfboard stuff, and kind of that's where it started. Well, it started way back when, but I'm not going to tell you like my whole life story. But basically what happened was, you know, after I share my story, I will share those 3 things I wish I would have known before teaching paint parties. So I'll share that right after. And then I'll explain what I can do to help along the way. So please tell me where you're from, and also tell me if you're an artist, if you're kind of you know, Pinterest type person, if you're crafty, tell me those things in the comments so I know you're there and I know you're listening. Okay, so let's see here. And I put some notes because I want to make sure I stay on topic, because I tend to like squirrel. You know, my dog's behind me. He might try to, you know, jump around and then I'll get distracted. So I did, if you see me looking, I'm just making sure I'm looking at my notes. Okay, so yeah, tag people if you think they're interested, or tag somebody if you know that person that's like working like a dog. I mean, they are working all the time, and they're not having any fun. And maybe you have that friend that's complaining to you about their job and they just don't love it, and they're just working all the time. Maybe they have 2 or 3 jobs. But you know they're kind of artsy or crafty. They don't even have to be the best painter, but they're kind of a crafty person. And tag them in this so they can join us live, because they may have questions for me that I can answer. Okay, so I'm going to share how all of this crazy art journey got started, okay? I've been a teacher for 10 years. Actually, I don't teach in a school system anymore. But before that, when I was living in Florida, I had kind of, done a couple paint parties and things like that. And then me and my family, we lost everything. We went bankrupt, which, before the age of 30, oh my gosh, it was so humiliating. I didn't talk about it for many, many years. Now I'm like, this is what happened and this is how I move forward. But before, I was so embarrassed. And to think that I would ever put me on a live screen and just talk about it I would be tremoring and shaking. Now I can talk about it, and really I don't have the emotion attached to it as I did before, because I know it was all in God's plan. I know, obviously God wants us to pay back our debts, but whatever happened then, I know that has just propelled me to where I am today. So I am so grateful for my bankruptcy story. So here's what happens. My husband loses his job. We're in this, cute little 800 square foot beach house that's a couple of blocks from the beach. Our, fixed rate mortgage is continually raising every few months. Hey Laura, oh hey Tracy, oh I was showing some people your cards. They are obsessed. They love them. You might want to post a little link. But yeah, so so here we are. We're trying to pay. Like I would go to the bank to pay the minimum balance on the credit card, and then I would go get gas in my car, and that was on a Friday, and I would still have to wait like 2 weeks for another paycheck. I mean, it was so bad. We were just so stretched, so thin, and finally my husband loses his job, and our mortgage skyrocketed, and we didn't know what to do. We were out of money, out of time. We were both working full time, and nothing was giving. And so somebody said to us, they were like, why don't you file bankrupt? And I was like, no, oh my gosh, how dare you? Like, I was raised, you pay back your loans, you pay back everything. I mean, you don't think of that kind of stuff. Like how, I was just like in awe. I mean, I was in shock. I'd never ever even crossed my mind. And then, as I cried more and more, and then as I started looking at my options, I kind of realized that was the option that made sense for us at that time. And so we moved out of our house that we loved. We had just built on this awesome nursery for my daughter. I'd painted, her name's Pixie. I'd painted the entire thing in Tinkerbell, and had a huge Tinkerbell mural, everything in purples and greens. And I mean, we were going to live there forever. I mean, that was what we had planned, and that was what I thought was going to happen. And then we're moving into this little bitty apartment, and all of these things are just moving. And I always used art to heal. I just didn't realize it at the time. Painting, you can see a couple paintings behind me. Painting has always been my go-to, even since I was 14. I've always painted. And so I started painting like these little mini surfboards. I was like, we had a saw, and I remember like, cutting out these little surfboards, and then kind of just painting them for fun, thinking, surf area, I'll just make it fun. And then I took them to the school I was working at, and there was about 800 plus people, 800 plus students every week coming through my classroom. And I took them, I was going to work on them during lunch, and the kids started seeing them, and they were like, Miss Easley, paint me a surfboard. Oh my gosh, put my name on it. And they were these little decorative surfboards. And I would, just do fun designs, and then I would, put a name or whatever on them. And it hit, actually, I wasn't even putting names on them at that time. I was just doing designs. And honestly, I was just doing them for myself. Well, after about oh, yay! I know some of y'all watching. Yay! Oh, good. Yeah, if you're watching, some of y'all might have some of my surfboards. I sold a ton of surfboards. But yeah, so I'm sitting there, and these people are, these kids are like, Miss Easley, paint me a surfboard. Oh my gosh, paint me a surfboard. You gotta paint me a surfboard. And like, after the 100th so kids said that, I thought, oh my gosh, like a light bulb goes off, and it's like, maybe I could sell these. Maybe I could get my family. So, sorry, I have a little alarm going off. And so I said, oh my gosh, maybe this could happen. And so I, call my mother-in-law, and she's like, I tell my husband, I call my mother-in-law, and she's like, well, let's go, let's, meet up with the people at Pierre Park. And there was this like really nice, oh, hello, North Carolina. Hi, Susan. There's this really nice, like, it's called Pierre Park, if you've ever been to Panama City Beach, and it's this awesome outdoor mall. And so I walk up there, my surfboard, like, still has wet polyurethane on it. I mean, it is still it's like so rough cut, and these are like little decorative rough cut surfboards. They're just, totally not finished, but I was like, I wasn't ready. I just thought, okay, I have this meeting, and let me go talk to him. And here I am, no money to my name, just moved into this apartment, like literally calling the electric people to like pay partial payments on my electric bill. And I go up to, and I'm like, do you think we could sell these at your fine mall establishment? And he's like, to my surprise, he's like, yeah, I think you could actually make some money. I think you could make some money. And so I'm, in shock. We take a deal. I'm paying $1,000 a month to rent a 10 by 10 square feet of concrete, literally just the concrete in front of Starbucks. And if you go up there, if you're in Pierre Park, you can see right in front of Starbucks, that's where I set up. I think they have like a little tattoo shop there now. So we set it up, and my mother-in-law's like, okay, I'm going to help you. We're going to go 50-50 in this. And so I'm like, okay, thank goodness, because, I have no idea. I don't know how to run. I mean, I've always felt like I've been this entrepreneur person, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And so we set up. And so I make all these. I got, my whole family roped in. I have my husband, my stepdad, my mother-in-law, all of us in this sawing surfboards. Like, we're spending, we're all working full time. We didn't just file bankruptcy and then, try to not work. I mean, we're all working full time, doing any kind of extra jobs we can. And here we are every night and weekend sawing surfboards to get ready to set up for summer for 3 days a week, 12-hour days. And we are, and I'm going to paint surfboards, and I'm going to make money, and I'm going to sell them for $20 each. So we set up, and I'm like so excited about the possibility of, oh my gosh, I'm going to get my family out of this situation. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get my family, back on track. We don't have to not pay our bills. We can do this, right? And so I'm sitting there, and nobody is showing up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I have totes of surfboards to paint, and I've everything vested on the line, my everything. I'm just everything. And I'm like, this sucks. What is going on? And so we sit there a few more hours and no more sales. And so my mother-in-law grabs me and is like, okay, let's go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Again, when you go to Pierre Park, you'll see all this. Buffalo Wild Wings is right across the street from where I was set up. And so we head to Buffalo Wild Wings, and we're sitting at the bar. And what do when your life sucks, you're not even 30, you've already filed bankruptcy, and now you've started a business that is not succeeding? You go to Buffalo Wild Wings to the bar. So here I am at the bar at Buffalo Wild Wings and just taking drinks, and I'm like, what am I going to do? What's my plan B? I don't have a plan B. Oh my gosh, what's my plan C? I don't have any other plans. This was my only plan. In my naive state of, I think I was 27, 28 years, whatever, 29 years old. In my naive state, I had no idea that there could be other options. I just thought, if this doesn't work, my life has failed. And now that I'm almost 40, I know that there's many, many, many times you have to fail until you succeed. You just have to keep trying. But I didn't know that. So give me a heart or a like if you have ever failed at something in your life and felt like a total loser, so I don't feel like I'm totally alone. Because that's how I felt. I felt totally alone, totally isolated, and I was like, this sucks. I was like, this is awful. This is not what I thought my life would be. And so another drink in. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? Oh my gosh, I'm like freaking out, totally freaking out. And then about that time, 3 or 4 drinks in, my husband calls me, and I answer his call, and he's like, Heidi, get over here, we have orders. And I'm just like, you're lying, there's no way. And he's like, Heidi, get over here now, we have orders. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, are you serious? And he's like, yes, get over here. And so I like turn off the phone, and then I look at Sheree and I go, I gotta go, Bobby says there's orders. And she's like, okay, go, I'll pay out. And so I tipsily walk across the street, and I remember this is the moment that has changed every decision for the rest of my life. And I might get a little emotional here, because every time I think back to this, I'm so grateful. I remember walking across that street, and I remember my husband, Bobby, holding all these tickets. We had these paper tickets for these orders. And by that time, it was evening, and he had tons of tickets. And I remember like looking, almost stopping in front of the booth going, what? And he's like, get to painting, start painting. And I remember just thinking, oh my gosh, like 2 seconds ago, I was flat on my face. Like, I thought life was done. I thought, okay, I tried this life, it's done, there's nothing left. No, when you have no money and nowhere really, it's just hard. It's hard whenever you feel like there's no hope and there's no direction, and what you're doing doesn't matter. Teaching full time, my income, in Florida was so low that I could not even, barely make payment. I could not make the payment on my house. I had to get rid of it. All these things. And I remember looking at him with those tickets and him going, paint, get to painting. And that's why I get emotional, because it was like I was flat on my face, and then I was catapulted. It was like God like threw me up and said, Heidi, it's okay. Not only are you going to be able to be okay, not only financially am I going to take care of you, but you don't have to do something you hate. You can do something you love. You can do something that you've created. And I can't tell you, like, that unshakable feeling of not only faith and knowing God always has a plan and a reason for our life and what we go through. Now, as I have trials, I totally see God's hand in it. Back then, I did not. I just felt like the victim, and this is happening to me, and this hurts, and this sucks, and this isn't fair. Now when I see, even medical or major things happen in my life, it's almost like I can see the reason for it as it's happening, which is another blessing in disguise. And so just that unshakable confidence of, you're going to be okay. And so we went on to not only, I tipsily painted that night as I laughed and tried, as students of mine would walk by the booth, act like I was totally normal as their teacher. But as I, that 2 months, we went on to sell over 1,000 surfboards, sometimes 60 a night, which meant no matter what was happening, I would stay up till 2 in the morning painting surfboards if I needed to. I would, paint in my Jeep with my friend Allison. She's so amazing. She would come and help me because we had to hire some help. It got so busy. And I would, paint in my Jeep when it's raining, because I knew every single surfboard I painted was a chance at my family's future, was another $20 that I was going to be able to have to pay my light bill or my rent at that time. And I knew that that it was going to be okay. And so that moment, I'm telling you, when I walked across the street and saw those tickets, it might sound kind of stupid or it might sound kind of dumb, but that moment has shown me that God always has my back, and no matter what's happening, there's a purpose for it and a reason. And I never look at my bankruptcy story as a sad story anymore. I always look at it as, oh my gosh, if I wouldn't have had that happen, I would have never tried to make something else happen. And because of those steps, and because of, trying something new, whether it's teaching paint parties or, teaching painting surfboards, those kinds of things, without that, I would have never had all these experiences I've had over the past 10 years. Oh my gosh, so many. I could talk for hours, but I'm going to get into the things I wanted to share with you. But yes, so many wonderful experiences and so many things that that I've had the honor to be a part of these past several years. Susan asked, do you still paint surfboards? Yes, I do. I still take orders for surfboards. It's crazy. I actually, a few months back, I did a surfboard for a lady who has a photography studio, and she wanted a little surf theme, and so I did some surfboards for her. So yes, I still do them. They're a little harder to sell in Central Texas, but I do ship, so if you're interested. Okay, yeah, and if you have questions about anything, please ask. I'm going to be reading and answering as I go through these. So you don't have to share a story if you don't want to, but just do a like or a heart. If you've ever had a story in your life where you're just like, oh my gosh, like, how do I get out of this? Just let me know that you're out there. Just a like or a heart. You don't have to share what's going on. I know for me, it took several years before I would open up. Only, close family, and I don't even know if I told my friend. Actually, I did not tell my friends, because one year I had to trade my car 3 times, and I was like, I just want a new car. Not, oh, they took my car, and I have to go get another one. But no, there were many. So yeah, for several years, I was not ready to share. But I do have to share real quick before I go into the 3 things I wish I would have known before starting a paint party business. Once I started sharing and opening up about it, it feels like I've had the most freedom in my life. It's almost like once I started telling people it was okay, I think the biggest holdup for me was, what are my students going to think about me? I was teaching high school students, the past 3 years, and I remember thinking, I went to this business conference, and I was like, yeah, this is so much of my story and so much a part of me, and so much is what defined me as an artist and a business and a creative, all these things. But how could I share that and let, these young minds that I'm supposed to help shape know that about me? And I remember somebody totally called me out, and he's like, who are you to think that what you have to say is, what are they going to do? Go be drug dealers because you shared your story about, failing? Like, why do you feel like you have so much power? And I remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, who do I think I am that I think I have so much power that me sharing that story is going to negatively influence them? And since I kind of like got over myself and kind of thought, you know what, let me use this for God's good. How can I share this and maybe show somebody else that there is light on the other side of bankruptcy, or there is light on the other side of a huge health crisis, or whatever the case you may be going through. There's always a way that you can look at something. There's always a positive. And I know I could sit here every day and go, it's hard, there's not enough. Or I could go, oh my gosh, like, so-and-so, my family bought my lunch the other day, and, that was a positive. Or, oh my gosh, I thought I had this pay, I'd already paid in advance. A lot of times I'll pay like my internet or something. I'll just, I know about how much it is, so I'll just pay it when I can. And sometimes I'll have like a surplus. Looking at all those things and all those things that are coming at us, sometimes we have way, way, way more than we think. And I think sometimes it's the people that are always looking at the lack. And I'm not throwing judgment, because I used to be that person. I used to always look at, oh my gosh, there's not enough. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to have this. Oh my gosh, I can't. And then I started going, wait a minute, I have water, I have lights. And I know that seems like cliche to say, but there's a lot of people in this world that have to go walk for their water. That it's not a given to turn it on. We lost our water a couple months ago, and I remember just being like, every time I go to turn it on, crap, again, crap, it's not working, and I would forget, because I am so spoiled to the fact that I can switch a light and it's on. I have this little light set up here because it's nighttime now and y'all can see me okay. And just the little things, just always being grateful for that. And I think that's been a huge key too, is just being grateful even when times suck, even when times are hard, knowing that there's somebody else out there that's really struggling, even worse than we might think we are right now. Let's see, definitely have but God. Yes. Okay, I think you're saying God provides, maybe Ruth, or that my situation really sucks. It did. Hi Heidi, always hard to make ends meet. Yes. Okay, so I used to always be in that mindset. Always hard. Always hard. And when your mind is constantly, it's kind of like whenever you say, don't think of a red elephant. Don't think of a red elephant. The first thing you thought of just now was a red elephant. Start trying to think of maybe like, okay, what's one thing that I know is really good in my life right now? It could be the simplest thing. Right now, you know, my heart checked out and it's good. My dad's heart transplant is working and is good. My husband, he's kind of under the weather. He's sick right now, but for the most part, you know, my family, Pixie's healthy, and I can be grateful and thankful for that. And so even if it's just the littlest thing, try to be thankful for that. And I know it's hard. I know I used to have to always write out what I was grateful for. I did a whole Art of Gratitude book. Some of y'all might have done it with me a couple years ago, and it was so good because it trains your mind to get in the habit. And once you get in the habit, then you immediately, your mind goes to that. So if you've ever been around somebody who complains about everything, so if you're a person, you know who that person is. Like when you're around them, it kind of drains your energy, and it drains you because, you know, no matter what is going on, I mean, they could have just gotten the lotto ticket and it would say, my husband used to, you know, before I got into the habit of not complaining, because I used to be a big complainer, my husband used to say, if you would win the ticket, you know, there you are, you're complaining. If you would win the lotto, you'd be mad because you didn't get the cash option. And so it was so funny because it immediately put me back in check, and it made me think, yeah, that's kind of dumb. Like, you know, let me stop complaining about that. So try to like get yourself in a habit. And I know it's hard, and I'm only saying this because I've been that person. But yeah, once you get in the habit of it, then you start to immediately go, okay, you like immediately course correct. Okay, what can I be grateful for? So now on to 3 things I wish I would have known before starting a paint party business, okay? Oh, Debbie says, energy vampires. There are plenty of those draining people around. I run screaming from them. Yes. Yeah, I do too. I can't take it. It's like, once I've heard a couple of complaints, I'm like, okay, good. But, you know, then you get to a place too in your life where you're, you know, obviously you don't want to continually hang out with people who are complaining, but you also get to a place where you kind of can not hear it. You know, I know I kind of get to where I just kind of like don't hear it. So that's helpful too, being able to control your emotions around other people. It really gives you a lot of power when you finally can get a hold of your emotions around others. And that takes practice for sure. I'm not saying I'm the best at it. I'm still trying. And I'm not saying I don't ever complain, because I still have my moments, but I do try to course correct a lot faster. So if you're just logging on, hey Cheryl, if you're just logging on, tell us where you're from, okay? So I'm going to go straight into 3 things I wish I would have known before starting a paint party business, okay? So number 1, I had no idea that I could control my time, okay? So being a teacher for 10 years, being on someone else's clock all the time was exhausting. I almost felt guilty for a few years of like dropping my daughter off in my pajamas. Like I wouldn't have my makeup on, my hair wouldn't even be done. I would just, you know, be like, put my sunglasses on so it didn't look like I didn't even try. But I would wake up and, you know, get her off to school and then come back and paint. And so I think that was number 1. Like I had no idea I was going to have so much freedom on my time. And that's big. That's really, really big for me. That's as big as money for me, honestly. So yeah, and another thing about time, paint parties are scheduled when you schedule them, okay? I have a client that I teach how to teach paint parties, and she would never schedule night parties. Like almost all my parties are at night. And she goes, no, I want that for family time. And at first I was kind of like, I'm going to see how this plays out, and then maybe I'll give her some tips for that. But she made it clear in her community that it was only during the day. And she has parties of 40 plus people out in the middle of nowhere. So it is all about how you want to schedule it. And then also, you have the opportunity to have your family at your events. Oh my gosh, not only has, tons of my family, which I love them and thank you so much, have come to my events, and I get to talk to them and hang out, and, they'll help, and just fun, just being around each other. It's like a little family reunion. But also, my daughter. So I know a lot of people are like, I kind of want to do paint parties, but I'm raising kids. I don't have time to, do that, plus try to raise kids. Pixie not only comes with me to a lot of my parties, we also do a giant road trip every year where we teach parties along the way. She earns money. She does public speaking at these events. She helps me on the microphone. And then one year I lost my voice completely, and I had a party of over 30 women, and I whispered to her, Pixie, are you ready to teach the party tonight? Because I can't talk. And she freaked out. She was so excited, jumping up and down. Are you really, Mom? Really? I can teach it now. Like, she's always kind of been a part of teaching it, but never have I given her the full on, like, I need you to teach this party, and I'm going to pay you really, really great tonight, because I'm just going to be a walking zombie as I try to make sure everything's happening. And so, yeah, not only controlling your time, the number one reason, but having your daughter there, not only helping teach, but if she needs to step in and teach. And it's so fun, because nothing against, people making minimum wage. I know there's people out there, but I'm trying to teach Pixie that there's a different way, that she can be in control. So what I'll do is I'll say, you're going to get a base pay of this, but I'm going to give you a bonus if you do a really great job. And so every time we leave, she'll be like, okay, do I get the bonus? Do I get the, and I'll ask her, what do you think you should get? And I'll try to have her kind of self-examine. And then she'll talk to me about it, and we'll have this full-on conversation. And then I'll say, okay, if you were working at this place, let's say Taco Bell or Sonic, which I've worked at Taco Bell, which I was really bad at. They fired me. I was there for like 2 weeks. It was an awful experience. I was not any good. I cannot do stuff with waiting tables or taking orders of food of any kind. It's just not my specialty. I just can't do it. I'm so bad at it. But anyway, so I said, if you would be working there, you would have made half of what you made tonight in just these few hours, or a third, you would have made a third. And when she compares that, and she's like, wait, I'm 11 years old and I just made $60 tonight for, 3 hours work, and somebody, twice my age made only this much, she starts to look at, okay, where are these opportunities and how can I make more? And so not only do I feel like, I'm not doing like, forced labor here. She always has the option. But when she does have the option, she sees the opportunities and the potential. So I think some of y'all that are kind of like, I want to teach paint parties, but I have kids, or I have this. Pixie's been helping since she was 5, 6, and she's now 11 and a half. She didn't do everything at 5 and 6. She would kind of put out the brushes in the wrong places and then run around the room and go grab candy off the shelf. However, I was training her. So now I could say, do you need to run this party? And she can run it by herself. So I think that's really good. And then the number 2 thing I want you to know, before I started teaching, which I wish I would have known, I thought it might cost a lot to start teaching paint parties. I thought, a lot of times, I love Painting with a Twist. Absolutely love them. I love what they do. I love what they stand for. I love how they've paved the way for artists like you and me to do this type of business. But to get a franchise is $100,000. I don't know about you, but I went bankrupt. I didn't have $100,000. And so whenever I was starting this at first, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to cost a lot to start. And it did not. I teach my students, my clients, how to make a profit every single party. Okay, because I want you to not be resentful. I love going into a paint party knowing that everything I make that night is going to help my family. Everything I make that night is going to pay my car payment, to pay my mortgage, to buy my groceries, whatever that is. Are you still doing a live painting party on Facebook in March? Yes. Okay, the first ever virtual. I'm starting the largest paint party on the planet. And obviously we got to start somewhere, so it probably won't be the largest yet, but it will be. And so March 2nd, 7 p.m., save the date, okay? Because we are painting together. So if you've been wanting someone to paint with, let me be your best friend to paint with. And I'm logging on this exact Facebook page at 7 p.m. If you're not on my email list, I'm going to send tons of details through my email list. Just go to texasartandsoul.com, and then you can sign up to get my newsletter, and I'll send all the details. That's going to start, I'm going to send details starting next week. So yes, I can't wait to have that. And eventually, I'm going to get the Guinness Book of World Records involved, and hopefully we will be on record as the largest paint party on the planet, virtual paint party on the planet. Okay, so, and another thing, what I was saying about, I love, I hope you can join. I'm so excited. I love the idea that I can make a profit every party. And the reason this has been so important for me to share with everybody, not just, hey, my name's Heidi and I teach paint parties and, please come to my paintings. I feel like it's my job to show you, like, not only can I do this, but you can do this. I feel like God's given me this talent to share and tell other people that may be struggling. For example, when I started my surfboard painting business, that was a lot of hard work, and this is way easier. Oh my gosh, so much easier than what we were doing. So if you're in that situation and you're kind of thinking, I need something else, I really want, it could be one party a month. I mean, you don't have to be a crazy person like me, although I've taken off a lot of time this month to go to some business conferences and just to kind of have some time to create some new stuff and experiment with some things. But you could do one party a month. I mean, that could pay a doctor bill. That could pay your car payment. Sorry, I need to get that timer on another time. Sorry about that. That could pay a car payment, a doctor bill. That could, do one party a month until summer. You could have this massively awesome summer vacation. All those things really do, so, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is ask yourself, are you that kind of crafty person? You don't even have to be the best painter. I've never, ever, ever claimed to be the best painter. I just know I have a lot of love for painting, and I have a lot of love for showing other people, especially beginners, how to paint and how to get the result they want. Doing simple paintings. We're not talking about teaching them massively crazy, Sistine Chapel stuff. This is, if you're a Pinteresty type person, you find yourself always on Pinterest thinking, oh, that would be so fun. And things like that, it's for you. This is definitely for you. And then, and I can help navigate, kind of help you how to organize it. Sounds good. Do not know where to start and with who. Yes, that is, oh my gosh, my virtual boot camp is so helpful with that. And I know, like, sometimes you can be stuck. I know there's people out there that literally, like, they'll have their friends say, oh, do a paint party, you should do one, you're so talented, and then they can't get their friends to come, or they can't get their friends to pay. The way I teach in my boot camp is to not contact your friends. Usually if I'm doing a party for friends, it's because they've contacted me. I do not teach my clients or or the people that are in my virtual boot camp to go directly to their friends. I teach them how to reach out to other people, and that's part of the virtual boot camp. Okay, so also another thing, maybe it's not about the money. Maybe you just need to get out of the house and talk to other adults. Okay, I know when I had Pixie, I had a C-section. I was out for 8 weeks. I was working at Nextel at the time, which is a phone company that turned to Sprint. Corporate job, and I remember she was so colicky, she would not stop crying. And once it was time for me to go back to work, I was like sprinting to work. I just wanted to be out of the house so bad. And guys, don't judge. It's really hard when somebody cries 16 hours a day straight. And so I remember just thinking, oh my gosh, just put me in my cubicle, let me do my little office work. I'll be on my computer doing spreadsheets. Like, anything to just get away from the crying. And so so sometimes you just need like a break away, you know, to go talk to adults, social interaction. Another thing, I can't tell you how many awesome people I have met and from all over. And I just love like not only getting to meet other people, but kind of seeing how their life is. I love talking to people and seeing how they're doing their life, because, you know, we all have choices. We all can change it at any minute. I know me and my husband have changed our life several times. You know, when things happen. Are you wearing a wand shirt? I don't know what a wand shirt is. I'm wearing a Texas shirt. It says Texas. Does it look like wand? It says Texas. I'm not sure what a wand shirt is. You'll have to fill me in there. But yeah, so just, you know, getting out and talking to other people and getting to know other people's stories. And the third thing I wish I would have known before starting a paint party is allowing myself to dream. Okay, now this might sound cheesy to some of y'all, but I was so stuck in a rut, okay? Get up, go teach hundreds and hundreds of kids. Okay, message me, you can tell me. Teach hundreds and hundreds of kids, wake up the next day, teach the same lessons to hundreds and hundreds of kids, wake up the next day, teach the same. I mean, I was like on this like Groundhog Day that I don't know. I mean, teaching is awesome. Obviously, I love it because I'm still doing it right now. Teaching is wonderful, but I could not. I don't know if it's the art brain in me or the creative brain or God's push for me to do something else. You know, I'm not saying teaching is wrong, because obviously I love teaching and I love teachers and I love my daughter's teachers and there's things about teaching that I really, really miss. However, there was something that would drive me every time. I remember standing in the kitchen with my husband. I had the best school district. I loved teaching there. I had a brand new classroom. My principal, amazing lady that let me explore and do all these fun things with the kids. And pretty much any big project I had, she would, you know, approve and say, yes, that's fine. And I remember standing there one day and just being like, feeling guilty. Honestly, it was guilt. I felt like, you know, this is exactly what I wanted since I was 14, to become an art teacher, elementary art teacher, and to have a new classroom, have a kiln, have a window. You know, if you're a teacher, you know, windows are important, all these things. And I remember standing in the hallway, like in the door frame of my classroom with this sick pit in my stomach going, how dare I not feel fulfilled? I have everything I've asked for, everything I want. And then after praying about it and thinking about it and, you know, crying in the kitchen with my husband about it, I realized, you know, we have goals and we have dreams for a reason. But once we reach them, it's like we're allowed to dream bigger, or we're allowed to dream more. And so once I got that answer and I started thinking that way and realizing, oh my gosh, this is just the next step. You know, that was a part of my plan. That was a part of my life. And now what's next? And what am I supposed to do now to help more people? You know, I can only help so many people in that place, you know, in that area. Now I can help more people. And then I think once I create this next dream and I realize it, then I'm allowed to dream even bigger. So I think that was a really big thing. Because, you know, even teaching full-time, there was a cap. There was an amount of money that I would get a month, and then that was it. You know, I didn't really have opportunity for bonuses and a lot of stuff unless I wanted to move up and be an administrator, which to me as a creative artist was like, oh no, you know, I just did not want to go that route. So, you know, it allowed me to dream. It allowed me to go, okay, you know, this month if I want to make 10 grand, I can make 10 grand. Or next month, if I want to, you know, do this, I can do this. And so it just opened up this whole new world for me. And I had no idea the simple act of starting paint parties was going to do all that. So I just want to share that with you, because I think some of y'all that maybe you're putting blocks, or you're like, there's not enough time, there's not enough money, there's not enough of this or that. Think about, like, bet on yourself. You know, there's things that I've invested in the past 3 years that my husband thought I was nuts, but he knew my passion, he knew my drive, and he agreed, and we invested together with, you know, knowing that yes, it was a risk, but what the risk to reward ratio, you know, that's big. And I talk to people about that all the time. I'm like, okay, so if you don't do it, what could you possibly be missing out on? But if you did it, what could you possibly gain? And again, I could talk to you all night about the last several years' experiences that I've gained. And not all of it's money. A lot of it's relationships with people, new people that I've met in the art community and art world, and just lives I've gotten to see, you know, art through healing and all of these wonderful things that have really just stretched and grown me as a person. If you ever want to, they always say, like, if you ever want to do some self-help, you know, if you're trying to do some help improvements on just anything, you know, start a business. Starting a business is like definitely a crash course in self-help for sure. Okay, so I want to tell you about the crap bucket, all right? Crap bucket. And do a like or a heart if you're still with me. If you are asleep, I am so sorry. Thanks for watching. But I was in California last week, and I was at a 3-day business conference. And this conference was amazing. It was taught by one of my friends. Okay, so let me answer this question real quick. What about if you do not live in a big town and there is not such a demand, and also might have people already doing it? We'll probably give it a try. Okay, so that is the mindset of there is not enough, and there is enough. My little town of 5,000 people, I've had some of my biggest parties. 5,000 people in that small town, and we have nothing to do but a couple of restaurants, and I've had a party of 119 people at a time there, a party of 80 there. It does not matter. My friend who does these in Mississippi, I actually stayed with her on my way to Florida, and I saw one stop sign. I mean, I didn't even see houses besides hers. I was like, how are you getting 40 plus people to these events? I mean, there was nobody there. But you have to remember, people, if you are in a small town, it's to your advantage, because people, they're wanting something to do, and you're able to offer something really fun to your community. How many times, you know, like right now I'm stuck on Nashville. I'm watching, anytime I go to Netflix or Hulu, I don't even remember which one it's on, I'm always watching Nashville. Like, that's the episodes I'm catching up with. If I was in a town where there was nothing to do, like, I would be like, yes, I'm going to that craft party or that fun party. So remember, it's kind of like, you know, you're offering a service to your community. It's not, I know this sounds rude, but it's not always about you. Sometimes it's about offering something fun to your community, and maybe something that they could go do. And then so they can keep coming back. Another thing is mixing it up, you know, paint parties, palette parties. I'm starting to do door hanger parties, which are really, really fun and exciting. So it doesn't always have to be, here's a canvas, you know, and that's it. However, for many, 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 many years, all I did was teach Canvas. So I've kind of started exploring these new methods just recently. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the crap bucket. Okay, so you've probably heard the term, you're the sum of the 5 people you hang out with. Okay, so right now I want you to write on a piece of paper the 5 people that you're closest to, that you hang out with. Okay, so maybe it's the person you work with, maybe it's your coworker, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your sister, whoever it may be, whoever those 5 people, it doesn't have to be the 5 people in your family, but the 5 people that you are influenced by, that you hang out with, that you purposely hang out with. So at this conference, she said this, and it was so true. Okay, so basically we all kind of have our social norm circles. Okay, so stay with me for a minute. So we're all in this crap bucket together. There's 5 of us, all right? And there's these social norms. Some people's social norms, whether wrong or right, could be jobless and homeless. That could be like the bottom of your social norm. Like in your people of 5, it's okay if you're jobless or homeless, okay? In other people's circles or their crap bucket, it's not okay to be jobless or homeless. Maybe their social norm is everybody gets a degree. Everybody has a continued education. Whatever the case is, everybody has their own crap bucket that they're in, okay? So whatever crap bucket you're in, I want you to think about the person that's kind of the most successful in that bucket, and then the person that's probably the one that kind of pulls you down sometimes, okay? So think about that for a minute. And if you're not sure, you can write a list. You can write it down. I didn't write it down. I just kind of thought about it. And so what I want you to do is, what happens is whenever you're in that bucket, that top person, the person that you see as the most successful, whether that's you in that bucket of 5 or whether it's somebody else, that's kind of where you see as far as you can go. All right. So there's somebody in my circle that I always thought was as far as I could go, until I expanded my circle, until I started looking for other people and started finding people that have what I want and then duplicating what they have. So what I mean by that is, this was my crap bucket, okay? Once I started going higher, always the lower one will grab to pull you back in, okay? It's just like nature, okay? They grab and pull you back in. Unless you change that 5 circle, okay? So now I have people in my life that influence me that make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Some of them make over $100,000 a month, okay? So now I know that that's possible because there's people out there doing it. Before, I didn't see that. I didn't know that that was even an option. I thought, oh, if I just get a good corporate job, I'll be able to do this. Oh, if I just get my full-time teaching thing, I could do this and this. And then I realized, wait, that's not happening, and I still went bankrupt. So besides the fact that I needed to learn how to manage my money, I also needed to influence myself with people who were doing something that I wanted to do. So the reason I say this is because whoever you're hanging out with directly influences you, okay? And I know you might disagree with that, and you might think, oh, that's not true. But if you start to look at your life and you start to see where you're wanting to go, you need to find people that have already been there. That's why I'm always meeting new people. That's why I'm always going to, talk to other artists that I really want to be like, or always going to a business conference where I know somebody is learning something online that I don't know yet and have already paved the way, okay? So you go to people that you can find that have already paved the way, and then you mimic them. Because if they've done it, then you can do it. It's not like, this magic formula and they got this magic DNA. They just know the steps to take to do it because they've already been there and they've already done it. Okay, so let's see. Let me go back to my notes so I don't get confused. Okay, so why is it so important to surround yourself with others? Because they have what you have. And the ones, and I never, I don't take business advice from somebody whose business is not working. That's just, it's not to be mean, it's just to be real. When I go to a business conference, I go to somebody that I know is already doing it and doing it the right way. So we all hear, dream big, shoot for the stars, but really, it's nice to say those things, but really it's better to find people that are doing what they're doing. Okay, and then another thing too, sometimes people, they get nervous about starting something new, and then you gain confidence as you start it. So one of the clients I have, she actually started teaching paint parties through my virtual boot camp. And then as she started teaching paint parties, she gained confidence. And then she also went to gratitude because she says gratitude changes everything, and it's changed her life. And out of teaching paint parties, she's kind of morphed into a whole new business where she does gratitude cards. She actually started painting 100 paintings of gratitude for women that were important in her life. And out of this, she's created cards, which now she sells through a subscription. So you just never know where it's leading. Just like when I started that surfboard business many years ago, I had no idea I would be on a Facebook Live telling you about my bankruptcy story and how I teach paint parties now. And you just don't know how it's going to end. And the hope and possibility of what's still to come is what's so exciting. So I'm going to read you what Jenny says. And Jenny, if you want to check her out, she's at 100heartsproject.org. She has tons of stuff. But she says, let's see. Oh yeah, for sure, for every entrepreneur, the breakthrough, the beginning is the hardest. Yeah, it's definitely, I'd say just taking the first step is the hardest. Once you take that first step and you fall flat on your face, you're like, it's not that bad. And then you're like, let's try again. And then you fall on your face again. And then you're like, oh, everybody saw that. It's not that bad. You know, it's kind of crazy. But once you have fallen and you've heard no and you've gotten over yourself and gotten over that fear of failure, it's like the whole world opens up. It's like a fun big game, you know, of problem solving, really. That's what it is. It's problem solving the next step. So yeah, once you take that first step, I promise you, it's so great. Okay, so Jenny says, Heidi Easley's virtual boot camp has changed my life. It gave me the tools and info needed to launch my own successful paint party business. It's been a year and I've learned a ton, met amazing people, and made money. I have gradually built my business without a startup loan or going into debt. I really pushed that. Yes, and Serena says, keep going and the path kind of lights up. It's so true. Yeah, it kind of like where you start, then you start finding the right people enter your life at the right time, and it's really cool. Last weekend, I deposited $750 into my bank account, my paycheck from just 2 paint parties. That felt really, really good. If you're on the fence about the virtual boot camp, just do it. You can own your own successful paint party business. So I think, you know, with Jenny there, you know, I think God gives us talents, and we can either use those talents to help other people, or we can hide those talents and think, I'm not good enough. Who wants to listen to me? I'm not ready. You know, we can beat ourselves up with all this negative self-talk, or we can take the first step and take the first action. And whether that's you, you know, working with me, or that's you going out on your own, whatever the case is, I am so passionate about how art heals, because it's healed me, it's healed my family so many times, that I want as many people out there creating with other people as we can get. Because it's so, so important. I feel like I'm just on this like worldwide mission to share that with y'all, because it's one thing to, you know, have these talents. And I mean, we're in a world where there is so much hate and so much evil right now. And if you have something that you can share with somebody and maybe help them, like, why hide that because you're scared or you're fearful? There will always be something. Every time I try something new, I'm scared at first. When I go to a new venue, if I haven't seen like where I'm going to set up yet, and I've been doing this for a long time, I get scared. But once I do it, I've done it and I'm fine. And I always think, you know, just take those nerves and take them, you know, make them into like, bottle them up and make them into passion instead. Okay, so I put on here, I remember when I was bankrupt using Art to Heal and then starting a business that not only helped my family, but totally changed the course of my life forever. I would have loved to have someone showing me the way, all of the secrets and tricks and tips that saved a ton of time. So like, you know, what if your husband right now, what if, you know, maybe you don't have a husband, but if you do, what if he's working 2 jobs trying to put food on the table and he's stressed out and you love crafting? You know, he's at work and you're at home doing these awesome crafts, making the house look awesome. What if you were able to use that and not only like have fun doing it, but help him with the bills? Serena says, yes, I just started the boot camp and wow, so much info. Things that I was stuck on. You cover Oh, you cover. Oh, thank you, Serena. Yeah, I think you just signed up yesterday. I think it was really yesterday or the day before. Thank you, by the way. And again, when you're in there, just ask any questions. I'm here to help. And I know the Bible talks a lot about money. And y'all know, if you've been watching me or listening to me, I'm a Christian. And money is not the root of all evil. The love of money is, okay? Money can do great things for your family, for your community. When I make good money doing something, not only am I sharing it with my family and using it to, pay our electric bill or pay our mortgage or whatever the case is, I can use that money to go out to eat or to help, tip big at a restaurant or whatever the case may be. So I know sometimes people think that that's, that could be bad. Money's bad if you're doing the wrong thing with it. But there's so many people out there making millions of dollars doing really, really great things with money. Okay, so a quick story. I know we're at our hour. I have just a couple more things if you wanna hang on with me. 4 years ago, my husband had major back surgery. He was out for over 6 to 8 weeks. I remember being terrified because I had just quit my full-time teaching job. And I was working part-time teaching, but I was doing my paint party business full-time. And I was terrified because his pay cut almost in half, and then he was going to be off work. And I was basically responsible for not only all the bills, but if we were going to have kind of a decent Christmas, that was kind of in my hands too. And he had major back surgery, it was awful. And so it took him a long time to heal. And I remember being so terrified I wasn't going to have enough money. So I scheduled. I do the same technique that I teach in my boot camp. I did. And I remember making over $12,000 in just 3 weeks. Not only did we have an awesome Christmas, I bought him a brand new recliner so he could rest his back in. But we had all the bills covered and then some. And then I even went on to go into a whole year-long business coaching program, which has led me over the past several years. If you've been following me through my email, you've probably seen, kind of my journey through there. But I was so scared. I remember that summer, somebody asked, "Oh, you quit teaching full time?" And I said, and I'm not telling you to quit your full-time job. I honestly was working my paint parties until I knew I could replace my income as a full-time teacher. But I remember this guy, we had a family reunion. It was one of the cousins or something. He said, "So you think you're going to do this?" And I said, "Well, we'll know." I was like, by next family reunion, we'll know if this was a good decision or if this was a bad decision. Because I knew I could always go back. I knew that door was not closed. I didn't burn a bridge. I didn't, make a crazy exit. I finished my year contract. I left on good terms. I knew I could always go back. And there's schools being built all over the place. So I knew I was okay there. But I didn't know what could possibly be on this side. And I'm so grateful I've done this. And I'm so grateful to see what's coming next. Okay, and another thing, age. Oh my gosh, some people are like, "I'm too old, blah, blah, blah." Oh, be quiet. Oh my gosh. I have a lady in my group who's a grandma. She's a proud grandma, so I can say that. And she had painted 5 paintings before she started with me. She just had a passion for painting. She's an awesome lady, and she actually made so much money that she funded her passion project, which was a book she'd been wanting to write for many, many years. And so she used the money from her boot camp to fund her passion project, which was her book. So now she's a published author, and she still teaches paint parties. So I thought that was really, really cool. So yeah, when you're sharing your talents, you're providing not only money for your family, but you're providing a way for your community to have some fun, to do something kind of creative together. So how many of y'all live in a small town? Just put a number 1 or put the amount of people in your town. So how many of y'all live in a small town? So if you'll put that down there and tell me how many people. Because I was raised in a town of 5,000, and like I said earlier, those have been some of my biggest parties. when you're in a small town, there's really not a lot to do, and people are excited when you're offering something fun for them to do. So if you think that, spending a day crafting with a friend, or grabbing your aunt or your cousin or something like that, I mean, there's plenty. And then if you're in a bigger town, like now I live in not a big town but a bigger town, there's a painting with a twist like 3 miles from my house. And it does not affect my business because I don't teach you to go get customers the way you would think, okay? That's kind of like my trade secret for those that are in my boot camp. Susan says she has 12,000. Oh yeah, that's plenty of people. Oh my gosh, yes, that is not a small area. And I've had parties of 50, 60 people in a town of 1,200. Oh, Serena just put 1,200. Oh my gosh. Well, there you go. So I have had parties in this little bitty town. I don't even think there's 1,200, honestly. I said that and then you had popped it up at the exact time. That's so weird. But I don't even think that town had 1,200. In this little bitty town next to the town I was at, we had a ton of people there. Frida, over 25,000. Yes, that's about where I'm at. I have around probably 25 to 30,000, they say. But, people living out of city limits, sometimes that doesn't count. So it doesn't matter if you live in a town of 150 or you live, look at the Junk Gypsies in Round Top. I think they have 190 people in their town, and they're massively, massively successful, and even have a store there. I mean, I did a what do they call it? I can't say the right word. I can't say it. I want to say it so bad. It's gonna come. I can't say it right. But I went on a road trip. I'm gonna say road trip. That's more Texan. Road trip there just for their store. Frida, I really need ideas on boosting my art fiesta business. What's an art fiesta business? That sounds fun. Pilgrimage. Am I saying it right now, Susan? Pilgrimage. I think that's right. I'm embarrassed now. Shame. Okay, so next. And also, like I said, I can help you. I can help you with all those little details, those tips and tricks. Oh, art party. Yeah, Frida, there's, are you in my mentorship group already? Do you say yes or no? I can't remember if you're in it. We have a lot of people now. Yeah, tell me if you're in there or not yet. Because I have so many videos and so many trainings. No. Oh my gosh, you need to be in there. I have so much information. I'm going to tell y'all exactly what's in there because I have a special going on until Friday. Whether you're doing this on nights or weekends, or you're just wanting to do one a month to, like I said, save money for your kids' camp, whatever the case may be. I know Pixie wants to go to space camp this summer, so I'm like, that's a lot of money. So I got to get some parties going, stat. No excuses. I know another lady, she actually was 7 months pregnant when she started her door hanger business. She started painting door hangers, which you'll start seeing me post a lot of those. And so she actually said she stuck she didn't even mean to, her pregnant belly into a plate of paint, and it stuck to her belly. So there's no excuses. I know sometimes we're like, oh, this or that, it's not the right timing. Sometimes just taking that step is so much of the hard part. So through these years, I've been finding what works, what doesn't work. I know all the tips, all the tricks, all the shortcuts from learning the hard way. Oh my gosh, if I would have had somebody that I could have just paid to quickly tell me, I would have done that in a heartbeat. It would save so much time. So basically, I am offering until Friday. I'm going to tell you exactly what's included. But until Friday, I am offering my online virtual boot camp, which also includes the community, which is the huge part of it, for $197. It's actually going to go up pretty quick because I am going to be concentrating on something else. And so if you go to my website right now, you'll see that it's $397. So I'm doing it for half price. So it's $197. and you're gonna get so much stuff, more than you need, honestly. It's gonna be everything you need to get started. And again, I'm not mailing you it's not a franchise, okay? I am teaching you all the shortcuts, all the tricks through step-by-step modules, through which are videos, through it's basically an online training course, but you also get me answering your questions every day in the Facebook group, as well as all the other artists that I've already been learning from me. And it's kind of like this awesome artist community, and we're all doing the same thing. Half the time they usually answer the questions before I get to it, because everybody is so sweet. It's not about like, oh, don't look at that, or don't steal this. It's all about community. And I can't tell you, remember that crap bucket. It's about who you surround yourself with and see what the possibilities are. And this is so valuable. So I'm going to tell you real quick what you get. 8 training modules plus bonuses, and I have a ton of bonuses I've added just for this thing. Please, okay, awesome, Frida. I'll put the link on here too here in just a minute. Because the bonuses, I'm actually adding a lot of extra bonuses to this. Let's see, Laura says, I've nearly finished your boot camp. How do you figure out how to paint in steps so you can show your participants how to do it? I love to paint, but it's hard to see how to do it in a step-by-step. Okay, awesome. Yeah, the boot camp kind of shows, I do a live training every month where it's basically like you're watching me live in the group answering questions right away. So if you want, Laura, if you'll put that in the, it depends. If you got the we had an $87 deal, but it doesn't include the community and all the extra bonuses. So message me, and then I'll have a solution for you. Okay, I have another way you can get into that community. But if you are in the community already, put that on the thread, and then I'll make sure it happens. So yeah, so the 8 so this is half price, $197, and it's good through I think Friday. Let me see what my deadline is. This is good through Friday at midnight, okay? Because again, I am working on something else, so this big push is happening now, and then it'll be Friday till midnight. So if you're interested in this, this is what you're going to get. So module number 1, I'm going to quickly go through what this says, how to identify customers and how to contact them. That is crucial. That's where you're not bothering your friends and family. Module 2, how to create buzz around your parties, along with exact scripts, exact wording to use when advertising, and you don't have to be a techie person to do this. Module 3, identifying your brand. What do you want to stand for? What will make your paint party different? Okay, Laura. Yeah, message me because I was kind of experimenting with some prices around Black Friday, but that $87 deal was way too low. And I really feel like y'all need to be in the community for that extra support. So I'm doing like a little thing to help y'all along with that. So if you'll message me privately, I'll send you the link for something so you can get this extra stuff, all these extra bonuses. All right, module 4, show you the exact places to purchase supplies, brands, and when you should buy. This is the critical step to help make sure you don't over purchase and you can make a profit at every party. Again, I'm all about you not going into debt for this. Module 5, how to turn your customers into repeat customers and how to gain referrals. Module 6, work-life balance. I help you navigate what could be a crazy, unbearable schedule, which December was, but it's because I knew January would be slow. I help you set up your schedule. I mean, you are your own boss, so you can schedule when you want to schedule. And then module 7 is how to use social media to streamline your message to your potential customers. Our Facebook page is our modern day resume. Marketing online is constantly changing, and I am constantly learning and updating the group with new information. If you're in my art mentorship virtual bootcamp group, which I'll put a link at the end of this so you can see more details, they will tell you, like, I will try something out before I say, okay, this worked. I'm not going to go, oh, this sounds good, everybody try it. No, like if I'm, for example, last summer I experimented with slime parties, like a slime camp. And I was openly honest to my group. Hey, I'm trying this, but I don't want you, I'll tell you next week if it was a success, if it was worth the time and the money. And then I go into full detail of how I did it, what I did, what I charged, and how they could make money too. Module 8, I talk about how art heals and the bigger picture for all of this. Some people use art as a spiritual practice, as a meditation practice, or even personal growth. Some use it as goal setting for business or personal. And I feel like I'm called to show that beginner artist a way in. One of my friends / clients, she says, paint parties are like the gateway drug to a creative life. And it is so true. I mean, you take people who haven't painted since 3rd grade, and then they're excited and they're doing something. Then they're painting at home. Now they're inviting friends, and you just never know what snowball effect it can have. So providing a safe place, a calm place to explore with color design, and that whole module goes into that. And each of these modules not only has a video of me telling you exactly what to do, I also provide a PDF that has the exact things I talked about in addition to homework. So that way you're moving forward. And then if you get stuck, you just go into the Art Mentorship Program Facebook group, the private Facebook group, and ask the question, Heidi, I'm confused. I'm stuck. I haven't had a party in a month. What do I do? And right then and there, you're going to get a response, okay? So it's very, very good. Like, it's great to have all the modules. It's great to have all the information. But the community and the immediate support, that's where you're going to move that needle forward. And then bonuses. This is what I'm adding, all this extra. Okay, again, this only lasts till Friday because I'm really kind of taking all my focus off of pushing this into going to that virtual paint party. So this deal is only till Friday. So if you're really feeling like you need to do this and you want to learn all these shortcuts and tricks and do something where somebody's already been there before you, $197 is nothing. You can make that back twice in one party. One party, you could double that. So bonuses. So I'm also going to give you a how to set up a paint party video. I'm going to give you a video on overcoming fear and self-sabotage. That's for those of you that right now you're like, I don't know if I can do it. I'm a little scared. I'm not sure if it's for me. If you're that person, that video is going to be really helpful. The next one, an additional 1-hour masterclass that answers all the most frequently asked questions. Also, you're going to get Canva and Facebook events training just for paint parties. You're actually a fly on the wall behind me looking at my screen as I do it and talk about it. Also, a how to make extra money at a party once you're there. I've once made $600 extra on top of like a $3,000 event, just bonus extra. You'll also have the rights to my Allen Love, which is behind me. And I'll give you step-by-step instructions for that. And you'll have rights to my chevron ornament, which I've sold thousands of times to paint parties. And then in addition, you're going to have a whole freaking library of videos I've done over the past 2 years just in this private group of me teaching on different topics. So, I mean, you're going to have so much information. And my battery's about to die, so in case I lose y'all, I will post the link below. But yeah, every day I answer questions in the Facebook group, and yeah, it's just a really, really great resource. And then also Julie, she's in my group. She's been in there since the beginning, and she says, I started my business after being cut to part-time. I was able to make back what I lost in my teaching salary through paint parties. Heidi's mentorship program gave me the confidence I needed to step out and try something new. Being a part of the mentorship group has helped me connect with other artists who are doing the same thing. Their advice and encouragement is invaluable. So sometimes we need people to help bring us along. I know that I'm in several groups, and it's because I know community is not a luxury, it's a necessity. To get us to that next point, we need people to help push us up. A lot of times if you're talking to other people, they don't understand what you're doing. So this program is for you, okay? This $197 deal, it's $397 on my website. You can check it out right now and see that I'm not lying. It's $397 on my website. I'm doing it for $197 until Friday at midnight. And this is for you if you can, you know, this is all self-paced. It's an online course, so you don't have to do all the modules right now. You can do them as fast or as slow as you want. This is for you if you're kind of that crafty person in the group. I have a friend who sends me homemade ornaments every year and makes awesome diaper cakes for baby showers. I'm like, oh my gosh, you should be selling this or making parties out of this. And then how much time will it take to learn? That's up to you. You can dive right in and watch them all, or you can watch one a week for 8 weeks. It's totally your choice. It's your business. You can go as slow as you want. You can go as fast as you want. Seriously, you're going to have access to everything immediately. So as fast or as slow as you want. And then if you're fearful, I remember when I first started that paint party business and we were eating lunch at the pizza place, and we were about to set up. And I thought I was going to vomit. I was so nervous. I mean, I just didn't know which way it was going to go, and I was so scared. And I know it can be scared, to take that first step, but once you do it, oh my gosh, a whole new world opens up. And I can attest to you, I am so thankful to God and so thankful for all the trials I've had that have led me to this point and have led me to you and how I can help you. So know that I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm here to help you. There is money on the table. You just have to go pick it up. And I'm here to help you do that. So create a different experience for yourself this year and for your family. So again, this is available. I'm going to put a link here. It's available until Friday at midnight at this discounted price for $197. So if you want to be a part of this community, this group, and know all of my tips and tricks and secrets, and again, I am constantly learning and sharing. So once you're in the group, you're in the group forever. It's a one-time fee of $197, okay? And then you're in there for lifetime. And every month I go in and do another live. I do lives all the time in there. So I'm here to help you. And again, I just want to support you and see where it goes this year. So check the link below and share this with a friend. Again, available until Friday night at midnight. $197, it's half off, and I would love to help you. Again, create a new experience for you and your family. You never know where this will lead to. All right, thanks for listening. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.